2014 Movano in. It's coming as a non-start. I did question the fella because it could quite easily be an injector fault, fuel pump fault, something like that. So it cranks over, just doesn't start, no codes in it, etc. So I think it's been to another garage. They can't work out what's going on, so they've sent it down to us. I did say on the agreement he's going to have it recovered down here. If it becomes injectors, fuel pumps, you know, something's broken up, we won't get involved in it. Then it goes off to the injection place up the road. They're amazing at what they do. We send work backwards and forwards. Sometimes they'll have something turn up there, sounds like a diesel fault, turns out to be electric. They phone me and go, look, we've tested this, it's not getting this to this sensor, to this solenoid or whatever. You can take it on, or it's an immobiliser fault or something like that. So the customers agreed to it. We've got it in. We're going to have checked through it. Let's show you what we found. So the first thing we look at is fuel pressure. So there's your 0.5 volt. That normally rises to around 1.2 volts before it will let the injectors actually fire. So the system does work. It cranks, pressure goes up. So we're expecting this to go to about 1.2 volts, which I think is around 300 bar. It does think that's what it's sort of expecting to see. But it doesn't really go up too much. In fact, give this a crank, will you, big boy? Okay. As you can see, that is hardly moving at all. So the main thing we need to look at is, are we getting a fuel supply? Which it does say it's got a fuel pump relay, so you should have a low pressure pump, pumps it up in a tank, through the filter, up into the high pressure pump. I've pulled the pipe off the high pressure pump and we don't get a flow through there. Some systems don't have it. Again, I don't know these systems inside and out, but it does say on the wiring diagram that it has got a fuel pump. Let's go and show you that. So there's your fuel pump there. It comes from the underbonnet fuse box. Supply comes from the underbonnet fuse box. Goes through a 10 amp fuse down to there. Engine ECU tells the underbonnet fuse box when to power that up through the CAN lines. So there's a possibility this doesn't have a fuel pump, but what we're going to do, we're going to check whether it's got that fuse which it lists, see if we've got power out of it. So as you can see, it does say fuel pump relay deactivated. When we was cranking it, that said active. And when that says active, it still doesn't pump out of this line, which is the one that comes up from the fuel filter. So it should power up there. It should pump up there, down into the high pressure pump. There's no fuel coming from, there's no fuel pressure coming from there. There is fuel in there, but not under pressure. We have come across these where some have a fuel pump, some don't. I don't know what the difference is. And on a Qashqai, if it had a DPF, it had a fuel pump. If it didn't use one. So, but let's get that stripped out. Let's check whether we've got a fuse on there, see if we've got an output on it, and find out if we've got a fuel pump.
So I have been sent my first scanner by a company called Kingbolen, and it's literally just that, and you download an app on your phone. It's just a basic scanner, perfect for if you're like a mobile technician, something like that. It's literally just a unit, and then you can download the app on your phone. It's got most of the special functions that you're going to need for a day-to-day. Scans all the systems, tells you all the fault codes, and like I said, it's got enough actuation tests to get you through the day, and enough special functions that you're never really going to be too lost. So I want to say thank you very much to Kingbolen for the first scanner, and it has come in very helpful. So we're going to leave a link in the description if you want to check them out. It's a nice bit of kit, and it's very easy to, well, it's easy to get around. It comes in a nice little case, so you haven't ever got to be worried about just leaving it in your box and breaking it. Yeah, job's a carrot.
Right, we've confirmed that when a fuel pump relay is active, fuse 10 gets power, and pin 2 on plug C gets power as well, until it goes deactive. There we go, deactivated, and that's gone off. So we know the ECU is activating that relay. The control module is doing its job, giving the power out of it. But what I have seen with this connected, look, now the power's gone, it's completely open circuit. That gives us a good indication of what's going on. I'll show you this on a diagram. So pin 10, fuse 10, 20 amp, that's getting power on it, so it's coming from this control unit. It's putting voltage through there, it's putting voltage out, but when there's no voltage on this wire, we should get an earth path through the motor and then down to earth. So imagine this being a bulb. With an old-fashioned bulb, it literally goes through the windings and then back out. If that was disconnected, you would get an earth path through there. We're not seeing that. So, yeah. So we're going to go underneath, get to the fuel pump, get to the connections on it, see what's going on there, see whether it's lost connection down to it. But I mean, it's completely open circuit, so I'll be surprised. Could just be the brushes in the motor. So again, that's the way that works. That, in fact, that's showing pretty well. If they were brushes, you'd have a winding going, you'd have a wire going in, hitting one side of the armature, and another wire coming in with a brush on the end, squeezing against that armature. So if we don't get anything between there and there, we're going to know that the fuel pump is faulty. But on the motor, if we have got continuity across that, we know we've got a wiring fault. So let's get underneath it. It's not what I like doing, but let's get some testing done. Oh no! Look at them connectors. Now they are the main two feeds into the pump. Someone's been there before. So we've got burnt pin in here and completely burnt pin on there. Hard to focus, but we're going to try and make a better contact. Not the easiest place to film. So the actual wire fell out the top of the fuel pump. The little clip what secures all the terminals in is actually inside it. It's been left in there. So I don't know whether it's only gone in slightly and that's what's caused it to get hot or what. But what we're going to do is give it a bit of clean up under there just to get it working, confirm it starts. At least we'll know where we're going. Right, so we have got a better connection on that pump. And now we've got an earth path, which is what we're missing. Now, let's see if she starts. Ah! He's a genius! Wow. Again, logical process. So, now I don't know what to do. It's already had one plug on it. Yes, it's already had a plug repaired on it. The pump housing is bad. Ideally, it needs a new plug and a new pump. But, yeah, we'll make a decision on that. We'll speak to the customer, see what he wants to do. But the main thing is, we've got a tipper stuck in the workshop. It's running now. We can move it about, make some decisions without being under any sort of pressure. So, it's another one done.
We've got a Nissan Qashqai in today. It's coming with airbag fault. So we're just going to scan it. It has got two codes in the SRS module, and they're both for the driver's airbag module. I suspect it's going to be the clock spring, not the bag, it's the airbag itself. So we'll strip that out, get it on the bench, and run some tests on it. Right, so I've got the squib unit out of the Qashqai. We're now going to test the continuity of the unit. So I know that these two wires go to these two pins. I've got the multimeter set up, and to test the continuity, we've got to put one pin in there, and it will beep at us if it's all good. Doesn't even change. That means we've got an open circuit on that wire, which does confirm that the squib unit itself is at fault. So what we're going to do now is call the customer, confirm that he wants us to go ahead and order a new part, and then I'll see you when it arrives. We can take the stalks off and put it in the car.
So we do work on quite a varied amount of cars, old, new, the old Land Rover, what we done last week, you know. But this one, quite a nice thing. It's a 2004 206 As you can see, the speedo dial is dropped away, so the motor's failed inside the dash. Yeah, you could send the dash away for repair, etc., but we can do normally this sort of stuff in-house. It's actually done 60-odd thousand miles, so he doesn't just want a second-hand cluster put in there. He does want this one rebuilt. Let's get it out, strip it down of all the second-hand cluster, which we can take all the motor out of, and let's get it done. So we've got the donor board stripped out before we take his one apart. So these are the 4 motors. They're all exactly the same. But this is the one we're going to need to replace on that one. So let's take this over to the soldering bench, desolder this, get it out, and then we can do exactly the same in reverse on this one and see if we can get it all working. Okay, so these are the 4 points we need to desolder. So we're going to run some flux down it, add some unleaded solder, it's a bit lower melting. And here with some hot air, we're going to go for 420 degrees. And there we go. Motor's out.
So this is the squib unit for the Nissan Qashqai that we took out. The new one's arrived, but just a little refresher. I'm going to show you the difference between the bad one and the good one. So if you remember last time, we tested the continuity of the wires on the old unit, and this one as open circuit. But if we go over to the new unit, which I'll show you now, we've got a good one and another good one. So it shows you the difference between the good unit and the bad unit. So now all we've got to do is switch over the steering angle sensor, the stalk units, and put it back in the car. Right, so I fitted the squib unit for the Nissan Qashqai.
They're not going to squib.
Right, so I've just fitted the clock spring for the Nissan Qashqai, cleared the codes. As you can see, they're all gone, and the light's gone from the dash. So this one's all done. Job's a carrot.
Alright, let's go get this motor out, swap it over, get it set back up. Once again, I'm going to run some flux down it. Bit of unleaded solder, no, bit of leaded solder. Let's hit it with some heat. Just get that last bit of solder out with the solder sucker. There we go. A little clean up with a bit of wick. That's ready for the new motor. There we go. So, motor's in, a little bit of flux. Put on. Cheers. And there we go, all soldered back on. Give it a little clean. better than factory. Alright, so we've got it built up to that point. Before we build it all back up, we're going to put it in the car, make sure the needles are set right, and then we'll be able to get it all done. So, there we go. Checked it all out. It's all working. We've just been out on a quick road test. Rev counter's all sat nicely. Speed's right. So, let's get this one back together. Get it out. There we go. Another couple of days done. Another few fixed. So I'd like to thank you all for the raffle. We've had about 700 tickets sold. We'd like to get to 1,000 if we can. I think it's being drawn on the 15th of November. So yeah, thank you very much for that. So Barney's been with us a couple of months now, and yeah, seems to be getting on all right. Channel seems to like him. Not sure why, but you're enjoying it though, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Still learning?
Yeah, I don't think you could ever stop learning.
You can't.
It's just too much to know.
It's just ongoing, isn't it? So every day's obviously different, isn't it? Every job's different.
There's no real similarity between most jobs. One day you could be in a battery drain, and then the next you've got an alarm that won't stop going off. It's just, it's never the same.
Non-starts, airbag lights, just There's not many jobs you can do with this amount of variety. Even if you're doing service work in a garage or something, even if it's an independent garage or do multiple cars, a service is a service. Once you've done 25 of them,
it's just
don't matter what car it is, So that's why I've been doing this 18 years now, full time, and I've never really got bored of it, because as you get more proficient in a certain car, they seem to go. You don't see them anymore, and then all of a sudden new cars come in, you start learning on them, and it just evolves.
The variety definitely helps the day go quicker.
Oh yeah, yeah, and even the years. I've worked in too many places where it just gets so monotonous that it's a nightmare. So yeah, see how we go, eh?
Job's good.
So we'll give him another month, and then we'll decide whether we're going to keep him.
Wow, it's a bit harsh, isn't it?
So cool. So thank you very much for watching, and we will see you on Friday. Ta-da! Ta-da! Ta-da!